Well, we are back with Ask the Sales Professor live, and we're getting a pretty common question coming from a lot of sales leaders out there, and that is we're a year into the pandemic and everything, all the changes that have been happening. The question is, what's working? What's working out there? And to address that question, I figured we'd bring in the big guns here. Brian, that's you, Brian. Bringing
Yeah.
in insight from Kappa's company. And Kappa's company sells equipment to probably the most difficult target audience there is out there, right, Brian? So you're selling tailor high-end equipment to the restaurant industry at a time where restaurants are limited to their capacity. Some aren't even able to open at all. And through a lot of hard work and some great skills, it looks like you're doing a pretty good job out there, Brian.
Yeah. I got to tell you, when we first came into COVID a year ago now, I can't believe it's been a year, first of all. Came into COVID a year ago, and almost this time frame, we were all looking at each other as a leadership team here going, oh my, what are we going to do? How are we going to bounce back? How are we going to recover? How is this going to work when people aren't even allowed to go out to eat anymore? And we've been very good at pivoting and finding a way to be successful, and actually turned in a pretty good year. In, you said it, that it was the most difficult industry. I think it's the most difficult industry, but like everybody thinks they're the hardest one. But I don't think anyone can deny that it's been a tough year for sales all around, and we've been able to find a lot of success.
Brian, I would say yes. Selling to restaurants is probably the toughest, but you are also right. Like everyone's
Right.
having their own challenges, right? Their own set of challenges.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about digging into this, Brian. But you know what we got to do first? We got to do that really cool Ask the Sales Professor intro. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely. I love the videos. They're great.
Let's do it. All right, now it feels so much more official.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt at all. So we're talking about selling equipment, high-end equipment, quality equipment to restaurants at a time where they've got limited capacity. They don't know what the next month is going to look like. And you guys have managed to come out on top. And I found this kind of an interesting time to bring you onto the show, Brian, because of a recent survey that we did. Did you participate in that? I think you did.
I did. Yep.
Yeah. So let's check this out. We had a survey that asked buyers. It said, there are so many different things that create a good sales professional. And as a buyer, what is it that you look for most when working with a sales profession? And check out these results. So I know we were talking about this just a few minutes ago here, and it doesn't sound like these were of any surprise to you.
No. And what's really funny is that we as salespeople always focus on the thing that we find to be, and the voters found to be the least important, right? So we will spend hours and days agonizing over, parts of a presentation or where we put different images or specific wording. And only 4% of the buyers said that was the most important, but 84% said, can I trust you? And will you help me? And I think that that's where sales is now, and where it's continuing to move forward, especially in the restaurant industry like I am. We're seeing a lot of baby boomer generation wanting to pass their restaurant down to their kids or down to a next generation of owners, and that legacy to want to continue. But these folks don't necessarily know exactly how to run a restaurant or what to do next in order to gain their profitability. And so that's where we can step in, right? That's what we do as sales reps, is help guide them and make it so that we are a trustworthy source for them in the future, so that they know that we have their best interests at heart.
Yeah, that's a great point. And let's create a parallel here for industries outside of just the restaurant industry, right? Even though you're probably seeing the biggest challenge, but let's face it, everyone has their hard times in how to run their business and how to be most profitable, keep your team on board. And with COVID, maybe there's just less room for error. Like, we've got to make sure all of us are on our game. And that's true for sales teams. That's true for those running businesses. So how did you approach that as you're talking to restaurateurs and helping them run their business better?
So businesses are like children. Like, they're a very emotional part of who you are. And it's not just how you make a living, but a lot of people myself included, see what I do for a living and the industry and the business that I have as a part of my identity and who I am. So when you get emotionally attached and you see things that drive your business down, it's easy to act on those emotions. But what we've found being the best so far is getting back to basics, doubling down on your key demographic, the demographic that has been helping you build your business for all along, and making sure that you are doing the little things that have gotten you to the place that you've gotten to, and going backwards. A lot of my business is face to face. So it's getting to people. And even when you couldn't do that with COVID, it's understanding that personal relationship, and then showing them that you are a trustworthy, worthwhile person to speak to, has paid off dividends for us moving in the future. And I think that's true across any industry, right? So whether or not you're selling widgets or you're building things or whatever it is that you're doing, get back to the basics and what brought you to where you are. And when you get emotional and you get tied up in things, take a step back and understand what it is that you do and what it is that you're great at, and then continue to do it and do it better than you were before.
Yeah, so go make sure that you're sticking to your core audience, right? Who is it you've had the most value for, and understanding what they might be experiencing,
right?
And then bring your level of expertise to the table. So what have some of those conversations been like as you're out there selling?
So it's a lot of worry, right? So I don't want to invest in something new because I'm afraid, right? I'm afraid that my customers won't come back. I'm afraid that the industry won't bounce back the way that I had anticipated it will. But because you're in the field and because you're talking to dozens of people a day, you can help dispel some of that fear, and you can help tell them, yes, this is going to be difficult for a short period of time. And yes, you need to pivot, and you need to get as flexible and as loose as you possibly can be, but you can't lose the core of who you are. And that's the message that we are trying to tell our customers. A lot of customers want to hear that they're going to be okay. And if you can tell them that, you should. And if you see something that will help them, you should tell them that too. That's what being consultative is about. So for a decade now, or whenever the Challenger sale first came out, right? So like whenever we all talked about what it is to be consultative, right? And to me, being consultative is being there for them and understanding their business enough and the industry enough that you truly can help every time that you walk in their door. You want to be the person that when they look at their phone, they see that it's you that's calling, that they answer it, right? That they don't send it to voicemail. I'm too busy. There's so many other things that I have to do. But the only way that you can get there is by being true to who you are. And I think that if you can send that message to be true to what your restaurant is, or be true to what your industry is, you're going to come back from this and everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, so I think it's a great message. We say something very similar too, is, not only would they take your call, but a lot of times they'll call you. As a consultative sales professional, they know you have industry knowledge. That maybe they don't, because you talk to so many different members of your target audience, and they want to hear from you and see what you have to say. So let's recap real quick. Get to the right target audience, your core audience, and then help them understand that there is a way out of this. So the next step, Brian, like how granular do you have to get with the business side of your solution? You're selling, again, high-end equipment that's got a little bit of a sizzle to it. It's a horrible pun there. It's got a sizzle to it, right? And how far beyond the sizzle do you go into the business solutions that you're bringing to the table?
You have to get pretty granular. We are. So we're asking for a lot of money with our equipment. I mean, this isn't, $500 equipment or $200 equipment. We're asking for and it's a lot of times it's the biggest piece of their business that they're getting. So when you have labor problems and when you have capital problems and you have a customer and, third-party delivery on our part is taking away your profitability, you have to be able to get granular and demonstrate how the solution that you're presenting, to use your guys' training, the solution that you're presenting is worth so much more than the problem that they're having. And it'll actually make it so that their problems are less by investing in the short term. And I follow Gary Vee. A lot of us do, right? Anybody on LinkedIn, I'll follow him, right? And he always says, always play the long game. And I believe in that, right? So if we can convince people to play the long game and show them that there's a lot of value with the investment that you're going to make, then you will ultimately win, and they'll win too. Because we as sales reps, I mean, maybe people believe this, maybe they don't, but we genuinely want our customers to be successful. We're not here to just get a commission from them, because the more successful they are, the better life we have. So I think that building that partnership is huge, and understanding that, and you can only understand that if you understand the industry and you get granular within their business, showing them ways that you can specifically help them with the problems that they have.
So much value in what you just said, but I'm going to do a little shameless plug for benchmark training here, because you just talked about a benchmark training concept and Gary Vee all in the same sentence. So I think that's a pretty big deal. It's a big landmark for us over at Benchmark. So thanks for bringing that up. But you're right. Looking at the cost of their problem.
Right.
What is the problem they have? What's it costing them if they don't fix it?
Yep.
And 9.9 times out of 10, the solution that you bring to them is going to be far less. It's going to cost them less, right, than letting that problem carry on. And in this time, whether you're a restaurant or any other business, there's just no room for error. We've got to be on point. We've got to maximize the dollar and the experience of every customer that we serve, whatever our industry is. And we don't have room for mistakes. So as sales professionals, it's important to know that our buyers are counting on us to be able to deliver that to them. So let's take a look at the survey results. So first off, do I trust you? Right. So I'm a buyer. I'm talking to a sales professional. Can I trust the sales professional? Is he or she in it just for themselves and their commission, or is there that long game, right, that you mentioned, Brian? And then if I can trust you, can you appropriately guide me through the process?
Yeah. And I think that there are two things that you said that really struck me. Is one, if you aren't bringing a solution that's a win for your customer, I don't know why you're bringing that solution up. Right. Mm-hmm. So if it's only a win for you, then what are you doing? That doesn't make any sense to me. So like, if you are hearing someone's problem and hearing their concerns, and you're trying to shoehorn whatever it is that you want to sell them into that concern, people are going to see right through that. So work hard to figure out what a true solution is for them, and understand it may be what you want to sell them, or maybe something else that you want to do for them. But that's how you truly get to be consultative. And then the other part of it is, I had a guy that works here come up to me and say, if we could just convince them to buy this. Sales reps don't convince anybody to do anything. Like, that's a misnomer. And it's a big fallacy, right? We don't convince people. We inspire them to act. We give them the inspiration. We give them the spark that they need in order to move towards the solution that they already know that they need, that they're just maybe afraid of, or they're not ready for. And we're there to give them that nudge and say, yes, you are ready. It's going to be worth it. And here's all the reasons why. And oh, by the way, to your trustworthiness and guidance, I'll be here for you the whole time.
It's huge. Absolutely huge. So we're running out of time here, Brian. So let's kind of sum this up. And then I'm going to have a big ask that you don't know about, and try to get you back on the show again so we can get a little bit deeper in this. But what we've covered so far is make sure that we're going to the right target audience, right? So less room for error on our part there. And then help them understand that you're bringing solutions to the table. This is not about, I love that, not convincing them to buy something. This is helping them find a solution that is going to help stop a problem that's pretty expensive, right, in their world. And then this last part you're saying is, as sales professionals, we need to know our stuff. We've got to get granular in our target audience's business to show them how the solution is going to affect the bottom line, regardless of how difficult the market is for them. Yeah.
And good sales training helps.
Thank you for that, Brian. Yeah. But I'll challenge you on that, because I don't care how good the sales training or the sales coaching is. Sales coaching does nothing without a team like yours that has the heart and the drive to get out there and go face those challenges. So as a sales leader, you inspire so many inside the restaurant industry and outside the restaurant industry because of that heart and because of that drive that you and the team have day in, day out. So just know that you are inspiring so many just through your communication on LinkedIn, and through the work you do out in the field, for sure. Now, if others want to connect with you, Brian, where can they find you?
So I'm always on LinkedIn. Connecting on LinkedIn is probably the easiest way to do it. Send me a message. I reply to everybody who ever sends me a message. So send me one. You can even email me at brianz@capituscompany.com. But LinkedIn's the easiest way to get to me. And to all of you out there that are on the fence and worried and in sales and saying, maybe this isn't it, hang in there. We are so close to things really breaking out and so close to just having a killer year. So hang in there a little bit longer. It's all going to work out.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, the gates are definitely opening. We're seeing that without a doubt.
For sure.
So those of you watching, reach out to Brian. Connect with him. Just lots of information and inspiration on his LinkedIn page, and connecting with him directly. And Brian, the next best part of the show, right? We got to do our little outro as we get out of here. So I'll hit that, and I want to make sure, for the record, everyone heard this, right? You are going to be on the show again and share some of this valuable insight. Is that right?
Anytime.
I'm on it. Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thanks again to you guys, everybody. And make sure that you, of course, subscribe on this channel, follow on LinkedIn. And we're looking forward to connecting with you and sharing more valuable sales insight at Ask the Sales Professor. Talk to you soon.